Good morning, 12th grade. We are on Wednesday of remote learning. I'm going to share my screen with you in a second. Just a quick reminder that thus far we've listened to episodes 1 and 2 for the Serial podcast. So if you're just clicking on this now and you haven't listened to episodes 1 or 2, you want to go back, rewatch the first videos that were posted, and just get up to speed with those 2 episodes so that the third episode makes sense because the podcast is done in chronological order. So our slides for today are pretty straightforward. I can use guiding questions to analyze the events of episode 3, focus objective number 7. Our very, very simple objectives for today are to listen closely and actively to episode 3 called Leakin Park. If you're in the live session, we're going to listen as a group and have a discussion. And if you're just clicking on this now, because you're joining on your own independent time, you want to listen closely, and you can use the guiding questions in the student work section to guide your thinking as you listen in. There's a couple of categories that the questions fall under for today. So there's a question that asks you about setting. There's a question about a character who's introduced, or a person rather, named Mr. S. There's a question on the narrative elements, including how Koenig concludes this episode. And there's another question on rhetorical questioning that Koenig uses as a device throughout this episode. So this is actually a shorter one. It's only 27 minutes and 58 seconds. And it goes into one of the discoveries that the detective and his colleague make. This is the episode where Hae-Min Lee's body is discovered. So it's a short episode, but there's a lot of really important details that are addressed in this episode. So you want to make sure you're listening really, really closely. The worksheet for the day looks basically the same that the previous 2 have looked. You have the same exact format. You're answering the spaces that are in yellow. And then I labeled the question type with the question on the left-hand side, and you can just type your answer on the right-hand side of the box. And if you're in the live session, obviously we'll go through most of these questions together and we'll talk about them. So this work will be done for you, which is kind of an incentive to join in on the live sessions, because a lot of the work is done during that time, especially when it is really discussion-based. But if you are unable to at this time, just make sure you're trying your best and you're giving as much of an effort as you possibly can. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'm available for you guys, and let me know how I can support you.